Welcome back to another video. I'm Korenn Rachelle, and this is my vegan lobster macaroni and cheese. If you have not subscribed, make sure you go ahead and hit that button, and we're gonna jump right into this video. So before we get started, I want to talk to you about Mikuni Wild Harvest. They sent me this box of mushrooms, and let's check out what's inside. If you are any type of long-term follower or long-term subscriber, you know I get down with the mushrooms. So let's see what they have for us. So this is the box. This is what they look like. They come packaged in another box. This was overnight shipping, came in less than 24 hours. It came so quick. And inside the box, they keep it nice and cool. There's like a little ice pack, or not necessarily an ice pack. It's more like some form of a gel pack in the middle, just to keep the temperature nice and cool and controlled, to keep the mushrooms very fresh. And here's the big reveal. Here is my large lobster mushroom. You can see that here. Then I have these gorgeous chanterelle mushrooms. And you already know, king oyster mushrooms. And this is interesting. They actually sent 2 of their bottles of maple syrup. It's a specialty maple syrup. I've actually tried one. Wait for the video on that. And they are delicious. And of course, we have some maitake mushrooms. These are also known as hen of the woods. And if you want to try any of these mushrooms that I'll be using in these next few videos, make sure you go ahead to the link in the description box below. There'll be a 15% off discount code for you there. Head over to their website, pick out which mushrooms you want, and they will overnight that to you. And it comes very quickly. All right, without further ado, let's jump into this recipe. So as you can see here, I'm getting started. I'm just cutting my large lobster mushroom into smaller sections, and I am going to wash my mushrooms. Some people don't believe in washing mushrooms. They'll use a pastry brush or some sort of stiff bristled brush to kind of brush off the dirt or any undesirables. But for me, I like to make sure they're nice and washed. And so I just take those large pieces, and by hand, I just break them into chunks, which to me, I felt like is really nice for this recipe. Here I have some fresh chopped garlic, which you must have in this recipe. Fresh chopped parsley. Into a saute pan. This is about a half a cup of butter. It sounds like a lot. It's a half a cup of vegan butter, maybe a little bit under. And right inside goes my lobster mushrooms, as well as my fresh chopped garlic. And I'm just gonna saute these until they become nice and tender. And the reason why I use so much butter is because we're going to use the residual butter for our panko breadcrumb topping. So don't skimp on the butter. You can always store it and use it for another purpose. Now, of course, we have to have our pasta. And I have here some gluten-free shells. And these are made with corn and quinoa, I believe. And I'm just going to cook these until they're almost tender, al dente. Strain them off. And these are ready. I have added in my lobster. And we're just gonna fold that in nice and evenly. To this goes my vegan cheese. And I'm using a mozzarella and a cheddar from Follow Your Heart. They were on sale, so I went with those two, no particular reason. And I did add in some of my butter that I used to cook the lobster mushrooms in. To this, I have some fresh scallions, chopped parsley, and our cheese sauce. Now, if you remember from my vegan Philly cheesesteak video, which there's no way that you could remember because I have not uploaded it yet, but so this is a clip from that video. And so I make my cheese sauce very similar to how I make the Cheese Whiz, which is a base of carrot, potato, tapioca starch. But to this recipe, I do not add in any vegan chicken bouillon. So this has a very cheesy, a little bit of a garlicky flavor for our vegan lobster macaroni and cheese. So once the cheese sauce is in, we're gonna make sure we use that whole jar. I think I poured in half. Here comes the other half. And we're just gonna fold this in, and this is going to go right inside of our glass baking dish. So you'll see on the recipe, which is also linked down below, that there's chives there, but you can substitute it for the scallions, which I found worked just as well. Top that with a bit more cheese. And for our panko breadcrumb topping, I am using the Ian's brand gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free panko topping. To this, I add in the remaining parsley. I also add in all of the remaining butter from the sauteing of the lobster mushrooms. And we just mix that in thoroughly. I don't bother to add any additional salt or any additional seasonings. The butter has a good amount of salt already in it, as well as the garlic flavor from the butter and from seasoning those mushrooms. So all of those really nice flavors are right there inside of that vegan butter. And so we are just going to cover the top of this vegan mac with our breadcrumbs. Into the oven at 375 for about 30 minutes. And there it is. This is the finished product. As you can see, the texture is nice and creamy and shocking. I was legit shook. So I'm gonna recommend that you try it out. This recipe was delicious. This was very good. Don't forget the discount linked in the description box below for your own mushrooms at Makuni Wild Harvest. And I will see you in a couple days with another recipe from these awesome mushrooms. Before you leave, make sure you go over and check out my Instagram account and go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I would love to see your food pictures, so make sure you tag me in any of your vegan food pictures and check out some of my other videos. I have a couple linked in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share it, and I will see you next time.